Hello my loves and welcome back for this week's video. I'm so grateful to have you here and I'm really excited because today we're going to be talking about why after leaving an unhealthy relationship or situation, we feel called backwards. If you're here, then you likely know the feeling of walking away and maybe you have a few good days. Maybe it feels a bit like an exhale where you're like relief that you're out of the situation, but then one day it just all seemingly comes crashing down and the urge to go back hits. You just start to miss him and you really want to text him. You really want to see him. You just can't get it out of your mind and you feel like you're going insane because part of you knows, right? It's the part of you that left the situation that you should continue to move forward, that going backward would only hurt you. And yet it feels like everything in your body is pulling you to go back. It makes you feel crazy. And I know, like, for me, because this happened to me quite frequently after my unhealthy relationship, I thought that it meant something about me. I thought I was crazy. I thought I had failed. I thought that maybe I hadn't healed quite as much as I thought. I could not understand the contradiction, that inner battle of wanting to heal and move forward and get better and also wanting to go back to a place where I've really only mainly felt hurt. So today we're going to be talking about why this is the case and why it doesn't mean exactly what you think that it does. First of all, what I could not understand at the time that I would feel those urges to go back is that they were not proof of failure, right? They weren't proof that I hadn't healed like I thought. In fact, they were the opposite. They were signals of my growth because in the past, I had those urges and I never stopped to question it. I actually just acted on them, right? Like whenever I would feel the urge the first time we broke up to go back, I would go back and I wouldn't even think anything of it. But getting to a point where I started to feel that contradiction of this isn't like what's best for me, but I still want to, that is awareness. And really, the fact that I could be aware that there was an urge and that there was actually a choice of whether or not I acted on it is a signal of growth. So that's first and foremost what I hope you keep in mind, is that none of this means that you're failing. Having an urge to go back does not mean that you failed. It does not mean that you're crazy. And it does not mean that you've made no progress. It's actually a very, very normal part of the experience that is healing, as well as if you ever tried to change in any capacity, such as if you make a New Year's resolution and don't mind my dog just absolutely chewing on her foot. This is Chloe. Chloe, say hi. Chloe, oh, she's so sweet. Oh my goodness, she's so sweet. This is my little Westie, Chloe. If you see her head pop up, that's why. She's precious. Okay, what I was saying was that this is present in any situation that you want to change, right? If you had a New Year's resolution to become healthy and you want to start going to the gym, you're gonna feel called to not do that and to go back to bed, right? Or to eat unhealthy. There are moments in any type of transformation where we're gonna feel called back. Another example, let's see. You finally decide you're gonna pursue posting online and then, you post a few times and then you're not getting the results you see. Bam, you decide to end it, right? There's so many examples of when we start something new and we begin the process of transformation and change, which healing is one of those processes, we feel called back. So my goal is to understand and break that down because it will make you feel crazy. Like your mind will convince you that that is the truth, that you have failed, that you are crazy, and that you haven't made any progress. And those are forces that want to keep you safe. That pull backwards, it's not something trying to sabotage you. Nothing about this is trying to make your life harder, but they are forces that bring friction to the process of change because, and I forgot to plug this, but I have several deep dives on my Substack about why we refuse the call to change, why growth feels like regression, what I'm talking about right now. It'll all be linked in my bio. I also have how your pain has purpose. I'm working on several more right now, and I'm really excited. This information is everything I wish that I had been given when I first started healing or changing in general, wanting to become someone new. Going back, there are forces that bring friction to the process of change and to the process of healing, because our nervous systems, right, they have one dominant instruction, and that is to make sure that we stay alive. And unfortunately for us who understand that, certain things are going to kill us, our nervous systems don't. And our nervous systems use familiarity as a shorthand for safety. So our nervous systems ask, have I seen this before? Is this familiar to me? If not, instantly perceived as a threat to our survival. So this is like life or death for our nervous systems and all those old primitive systems that have kept us alive this far. But now we're at a point where we're like, oh, change isn't going to kill me. Healing isn't going to kill me. It's just we have to be able to help our nervous systems realize that as well. And so that's why those forces exist. It's simply just to try and keep you safe. They're outdated protective mechanisms. So that's another great helpful thing, because once you can see like, oh, fear isn't something that needs to stop me, that I need to try and avoid, I can befriend that fear, like I can look at it with curiosity and say, where have you saved me in the past and where are you trying to save me now? And then you can adjust accordingly. So going back to those moments where we feel pulled back when we're trying to move forward, that is the hardest moment of change, in my humble opinion, because you've made a decision that you want to move forward to what is genuinely better for you. But again, you're against those forces that are trying to preserve what is familiar. So it's really difficult, and that's why we grow in levels of awareness when we come back to these moments. These are what American mythologist Joseph Campbell called tests. This completely changed the way that I saw my healing process. Once you decide you want to move forward and you want to change, whether that's healing, whether that's becoming healthy, posting online, whatever it is, life will begin to bring you opportunities that ask you, are you serious about this change? Are you going to follow through and adopt that new identity, or are you going to be pulled back into what is familiar and safe? And rather than those moments meaning that, why am I seeing this? This means I failed. Rather, they are moments that we should approach and seeing, oh wow, life is bringing me back this situation so that I can choose differently, right? Like I said, I could not fathom why I would be missing my ex-boyfriend who genuinely hurt me so badly. Of course, like I did love him when we were together, but when I would break up and want to be better and be on my own and not be in that anymore, why would I feel feelings of longing? What I did not realize is that those moments were opportunities for me to affirm a new identity. The way change happens, it does not happen in theory alone, right? It's the same way we have to go to the gym and lift weights if we want to get stronger. We can't just think about getting stronger. We have to go and practice it. And these moments, these urges, these feelings, like I said, they're not failure. They are moments for us to practice. These tests are practically the gym of transformation. And the reason it feels like you're going backwards is because you are coming back to the same exact feelings and situations and urges. However, you are not coming back to them as the same person who saw it last time. And this was a life-changing thing that I learned, which is that growth does not happen in a straight line. Growth happens in a spiral. Okay, imagine, right, a lighthouse or any spiral staircase. You go around that staircase, and each time you go around, you come back to the same place, but you're a little bit higher. And it's the same in change. We come back to the same situation, but with a little more awareness, with a little more capacity to face it, with a little more possession of our own selves to be there, to choose differently. So growth, healing feels like going backwards. It feels like you're crazy and you're regressing because you are going back to those same situations, but you're not the same person meeting it. And each time you have the choice to act differently. That goal is to actually expand the gap between like stimulus, like a trigger, and an action that we take. It used to be we feel that and we act on it immediately. Now we can see it, we can have a moment, and we can decide differently. We're extending the gap. And even if you don't act the way that you want to act, that is not failure. When I first learned about this, I thought about all the times that I did go back when I wanted to, or even when I had that awareness, still acting on the urge. What does that mean that I failed? Well, and this is why I will never judge someone who is going through some kind of toxic cycle. And not because even the person is toxic. Like, you can have this unhealthy relationship with food, with drugs, with alcohol, with anything. You can have this relationship. I literally was at Starbucks listening to this girl talking to, I don't know, this other older girl about how she cannot kick the habit of smoking weed, right? She's trying really hard. It sounds like I'm an eavesdropper, and you know what? If you're talking really loudly at Starbucks, I am eavesdropping, so. But she was saying, when I get that urge, it's so hard, there's a battle inside of me, and I wanted to go and tell her, like, that's good. If you feel that battle, it means that you've grown. It means that one day you will genuinely be strong enough to say no. And that's why going back is not a failure, because sometimes going back is exactly what we need to learn. I went back way more than once. I went back maybe 10 times, but each time that I went back, my resolve to not repeat my mistake, or what I considered a mistake, only grew. And each time that I would go back, I would gain more clarity on why this isn't going to work for me, on why I don't want to go back again. And that contrast really serves as the best teacher. And that's why I will let someone go through their cycle as many times as they need to, because I trust that you will learn whatever it is that the universe has there for you. I will never be like, just leave him, because she needs to learn that, right? I needed to learn that when I went back 10 times. And eventually I did. So it might feel bad in the moment that you fail, but it's really not failure. It's part of that spiral to keep you moving forward. I don't think there is any failure, honestly, because even if you stay in the unhealthy situation, whatever it is in the universe that wants us to grow and realize our truest, wholest self will not leave you alone, and the suffering will reach a point where the pressure is too great that you need to move. You can only stay in a situation you are not meant to for so long. So I don't think there is any true failure in this process. I've been in it where I've refused the call to grow, where I stayed for way longer than I was meant to, and that exact thing I described happened to me. So there's no need to look at yourself like you're failing. Like, how could you even be failing when nobody taught us this and this is the first time we've gone through it? So anyways, the reality is your mind understands something first. Your mind understands it before your body, before your nervous systems, before your neurological pathways, which have been programmed over years and years of decision making. Like I said, change cannot happen in theory alone. We have to practice the change that we desire. So it's really helpful to know that feeling that urge does not equate to failure, but that you can actually feel that urge and act differently. As we said, that gap exists. That is the true work of integration. That is the true sign of growth. That awareness is everything, and that awareness is what's going to help you keep moving through the spiral. You can still miss him and you can still move on. You can know that something isn't right for you and still be attached to it moving on. It's okay. You're not weak, you're human, and you are in the middle of something very difficult and challenging and new. Moving forward, instead of asking, why is this happening? Or why am I coming back to the same situation? What's wrong with me? What if you asked, this is coming up again, how can I meet it differently this time? Right? It's knowing that, okay, the goal isn't to never see this again. The goal is not even the goal, I will see this again. And the goal is to choose differently. And that is the true work of it all, right? It's not never feeling it again. It's being someone who can feel it and still choose differently. So my love, you are not starting over. You're not back at square one. You're just meeting the same moment with a little more of yourself this time. And that is how real change and healing happens. And if you are looking for someone to accompany you in this journey or guide you through it that has been in your exact shoes, I am now taking one-on-one clients, and I would be absolutely honored to work with you. But I love you all so much. You are doing so much better than you think. This is all part of the journey, and I have absolutely no doubts that you are going to get through it exactly as you're meant to. See you guys next week. Love you guys.